Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I am decorating my Disney Christmas tree and I am so very excited to get started. This is what I've been planning for a very long time. Come with me and see how I do it. I always start my trees with a little bit of design and supervision from my puppy Archie. And my design ideas were based around a wreath as a centerpiece. Of course, it's just the natural option to go with the ears, and I loved this particular picture with the ears as reference points. Those ears I couldn't find, and also used a little bit of inspiration for the hands in the tree. This is my very, very terrible sketching to give an idea of what I'm looking to do. And it isn't always how it turns out, but it's nice to have that start and a little bit of inspiration to work with. As always, I pull out all of the ornaments I have, and again, I have my supervisor making sure I don't drop anything or break anything. This one here is my absolute favorite, probably favorite ornament of all of them from Disneyland. And I've got a few Hallmark ornaments, which are always a favorite of mine. A few of them I find nice one, Archie. A few of them I find in thrift shops, but that's a little bit harder to find. However, I have got 2 or 3 from there, and the other ones I pick up from shops, trying to get those bargains at the end of the year, but that's not always possible. And I have learned that if I really like it, I will get it early. The other things I've got are some little Disney ornaments, or Mickey ornaments that I've made using some black baubles. And a really easy option to do it is just to burn the holes in the side and insert them, just glue them in. And I've also got some bits and pieces that I've picked up over a few years. The castle. And this little one of Belle that I just added some books. Here are the ears I found online. They obviously not high quality, but they've got lots of sparkle, and the colouring is perfect for what I'm wanting to look for them for as well. I've got a couple of Mickey plush, and this is a vintage Mickey actually from the 80s. This one obviously needs a little bit of repair. This is an ornament from my trip in 2019, and also an ornament from very first visit in 1988. A little vintage. I found these in a calendar, and they're Disney tickets, and a very vintage looking Disney map, so I wanted to use that if I could. These flag pennants are also lots of fun, and I thought could be a nice sort of frame for the tree. So I'm hoping to use those. And this was a lovely find, this beautiful vintage comic book with lots of different characters, lots of different comics, and absolutely just beautiful colour, which I'm hoping to use somewhere as well. Now the wreath I made very easily with just two small wreaths and a larger wreath. Wired them together, and I've got this castle that's going to be the center point. Picked up some little Tinkerbell figures and popped some of the Mickey ornaments around it as well, so it was very easy to do. I will add more to it in the tree, but this is just the basis of how I'd like to have it there. And here's my tree. It's a really nice and big one. It's nice and full, and it is, I think, 8 feet, 7 feet. It's quite a good one. The lights, I've got plenty of lights on this tree, and I am enjoying these cluster lights as well. I think they give a lot of options. Here I am just trying out my ears, making sure they look good, and yeah, they do. Here is the wreath, which I'm putting through as sort of at eye height, and just using branches to entwine it on and just keeping it nice and secure. And just to highlight the wreath, I've got some lights in there just around the back there, just to mimic the firework lights, which I'm trying out here, and pretty happy with them, of course. I think they look great. The gloves I have stuffed full of some newspaper just so the fingers keep their shape and that they sit nicely. It turned out to be a bit of a harder job than I thought, and a little more newspaper than I thought, but that's okay. It worked out fine. Once they were done, I just used a couple of branches to make sure they were connected. So just naturally, I thought that they would work on both sides of the tree. Obviously, like the tree's got hands, but just framing the sides. And here's a little checkout of what I've got in place. So there's that centerpiece ornament, the flag penners overlapped each other, but just sort of also framed that ornament, and the remainder of the ornaments obviously to go on. And I had a little bit of a play with the headbands to work out how I wanted to do them, and ended up deciding that I would treat them a little bit like they were ornaments and just use some thread or some twine around the headband. And luckily there was a wee gap there, so I could tie that through and hang that on the tree just like another ornament. And I got 5 of these, but in actual fact I feel like I could have had more. They're not particularly big, and here is the tree with most of the ornaments on, just still having a little play with the top bit. Not quite happy with that license plate at the top, but I do love the fireworks. So I'm going to keep working on it. I feel like it's a never-ending task to make sure these trees are looking how I want them. Sorry about that excellent camera work there. So one thing I did note that with the headbands, they just needed a little bit of extra to highlight them. So I've just used some glittery red picks to frame them, to accent them, and just trying to find a good spot for them there. So onto the ribbon, rather than using some long strands that I've done in the past, I wanted to try something a little bit different. So I'm going to try this loop technique. So grabbing a couple of pieces of ribbon, and I think a larger and smaller work well, folding them in half and finding the middle there. And that could be tied with some wire. It could be tied with, I think I've used a cable tie. Basically anything that just connects it. And the bottom can be twisted through. And I've dovetailed it, and just using the loop, just connecting that onto the tree. And I've just used a branch to connect it through, which has been nice and easy. And I really like how the colours of this ribbon pick up the colours from the headbands. Now I've got a second lot of the firework lights in, and I'm just starting to work on that topper. And you can see that I've added more of the loops in the tree. And finally I have a finished Christmas tree with all the ornaments through. I've added some beautiful red ornaments into the center of the tree and clusters of 2 and 3 and 4, just to pick up some of the red from the ribbon and the ornaments, and also just to add some depth. So for me, that's finished off. What was missing was perhaps some of that depth, and I'm happy with the result. Love the castle. I like the little firework lights, and of course all the Disney ornaments make me very happy. And the topper, just a bit more greenery has been added, and of course the fireworks. I spent a couple of weeks looking at this tree and thinking I wasn't 100% happy with the topper, so I have made a change to a little fiber optic tree which has got the color changing lights. It makes the tree about maybe 10 feet tall, maybe 9 feet tall, anyway, pretty tall, and it just fits better. And for me, with the fireworks, sorry, it's really hard to get the lights. And oh, yeah, a little wobble overboard. So now I am 100% happy with the tree. And final touch is the firework noise. And that is my Disney tree. Thanks so much for joining me as I put this tree together. I'm so happy with it, and I hope you enjoyed watching the video. Thank you.